What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/PettyRevenge. This story's called Small Motorbike versus Waves Pinky Finger. I should preface this by saying I was raised by a narcissist, and I'm extremely passive-aggressive as a result. Years ago, I bought my first motorbike, a tiny 125cc bike that, with my 82-kilogram body weight, could barely do 90 kilometers an hour on a flat road and would lose speed going up hills despite me revving as hard as I could. That was my first motorbike, and I loved her with my whole heart. At the time of this incident, I was still on my L plates, my learner license, which requires the driver and rider to display a yellow square with the large black L on the back of their motorbike. I had two, one attached next to the number plate and one tied to my backpack. So I'm cruising along on my bike to visit family, and I'm heading up this one notorious hill that is deceptively steep on the incline. It curves around so it's hard to see, but gets quite steep over the distance. So I'd hit the bottom of the hill at 90 and be doing 70 at the top. I'd always take the left lane, a slow lane in Australia, so that people could overtake safely on my right, the fast lane, if they needed to. I was the only vehicle on that stretch of road when a man in a very expensive-looking car decides to come flying around the curve and almost hit the back of my motorbike. He would have been easily doing 110 plus in the 90 speed limit, and instead of moving over and overtaking safely, he decided to slam on his brakes, sit inches from my bike, and beep his horn while screaming at me to get off the road. I move as far over in the left lane as I could without riding into the shoulder, but he won't overtake. And he just screams and beeps and revs until I get to the top of the hill when he finally decides to overtake and move off. I cruise on down the far side of the hill and suddenly realize he's gotten caught in the lights at the off-ramp. So I carry on down the off-ramp and cruise to the front of the queue for the lights. Lane filtering is legal here, and stop my bike just in front of his car. Wait for the light goes green. I move forward about a meter and stall the bike. I've seen some shades of red and purple in my life, but never anything like the color of douchebag's face. He completely loses it, screaming and swearing and threatening to have me arrested and or shot. The lady in the car behind him gets out her phone and starts recording him. I ignore him, restart the bike in a belch of black smoke, and just as the light turns yellow, I speed off around the corner, leaving him there throwing a massive tantrum. Would I do that again now that I'm older and wiser? Hell no! But it felt so good at the time. That sounds so fun. I wanna learn how to ride a motorcycle. I'm gonna sound spoiled, but I didn't ask for it. My dad got me a Harley, or he said he got it for me, but I don't ride it because the thing's scary. Like, I'm not scared of riding a bike. I'm not scared of riding a dirt bike, but that thing's so hoppy, man. I'm terrified to even start that thing and, ride it. This story's called He Wanted All His Stuff Back, so I made sure he got everything. So my last relationship was beyond bad. He was all sorts of abusive and controlling. At one point, I had the strength to break up with him, but then we got back together after we discussed some things. Stupid, I know, but yeah, love and all that. Well, anyway, one of the things we agreed on was that he and I would stop drinking alcohol because he was beyond crazy aggressive when he drank, and I wanted to support his sobriety. This is really important. Fast forward about 8 months or so, and we got into a huge fight, and I not only broke up with him, I kicked him out of the house and told him he wasn't ever allowed back inside. We'd been living together for over a year at this point, so his mom got in touch with me about getting his stuff back. While on the phone with her, I could hear him in the background saying, "Make sure they get everything I own or bought. I want it all back." Apparently even stuff he gifted me when he wanted back, but honestly, I didn't care. I was happy to get rid of anything related to him. While cleaning our room up and gathering everything, I started to come across numerous bottles and cans of alcohol. It seems he had been drinking again for a while and was hiding the evidence in the room. I mean, he was hiding them under the bed, in his guitar case rolled up in his clothes, in some old backpacks of mine, and so on and so forth. He said he wanted everything of his, so any bottle and the few unopened cans cans I found went straight into one of the garbage bags of his stuff. By the time I had gathered everything up, I had 3 bags of his stuff, and one was basically all just the alcohol. Dropping them off was just so satisfying. He actually called moments after I left his parents' place ranting about how petty and immature I was. My response? Well, you wanted all your stuff back, and those definitely weren't mine. Plus, I figured you'd probably need a drink to deal with the breakup. I promptly ended the call and blocked him on everything. Most satisfying thing I've ever done. Edit. Oh my god! Thank you, everyone. I posted this right before heading to work, and the entire time my phone kept going off. I really appreciate the kind words and encouragement from everyone. I definitely didn't expect this kind of reaction and response. Edit 2. All the bottles and cans were left as is, closed and such, because I knew that if I put the empty cans, that could leak and damages things. That would cause so many issues, and I just wanted him out of my life. OP, good job. You're strong. I'm proud of you, girlfriend. Go get it! It being happiness and contentness, being content in life. You get what I'm saying. Gah! This story's called Repay Our Hospitality by Throwing Away Our Keepsakes? Karma sends her a dead snake. Oh wait, where's this story from? r/Voicey here? A Petty Revenge post from r/Voicey here? Where have I heard that name before? This Petty Revenge wasn't on purpose, but I also didn't stop myself from laughing hard. That was my part of the revenge, I guess. Anyway, here's the story. So when I was a teenager, one of my mom's friends needed a place to stay for a bit while she was moving. And while she was with us, this lady decided to help us get rid of all of our stuff. We weren't hoarders, and our house was fairly clean. But my dad is very sentimental, and we had 2 sheds full of memories from when we were babies. This lady went through all of it and got rid of anything we weren't using currently, saying, "Memories belong in your heart, not in your hands." My mom let her do this because she's also a jerk, and my poor dad was too non-confrontational to stop it. His eyes just bugged out like he wanted to scream at her, and he left so he wouldn't see. This went on for weeks, and all us kids hated her for it, especially since she made us help. Nothing like being forced to throw away your baby handprints and old Christmas ornaments, but it wasn't being used, so out it went. Now, about a week before she got there, a big snake had gotten inside our house through our toilet. Huh? That's possible? What? Okay. And my dad, after he killed it, had put it in a Ziploc bag in the freezer to teach us how to make snakeskin belts later. We live on a farm, so this wasn't weird to us at all. With all the stress of my mom's friend moving in, we all completely forgot about it. And of course, we had no way of knowing that she would feel comfortable enough in our home to invade our space to that extent. After this lady had stripped the 2 sheds of anything she considered useless, she moved to the inside of our house, starting with the kitchen. She started pulling things out of the freezer to check for expiration dates and happened to lay her hand on the bag with the snake. She pulled it out, thinking it was just a bag of frozen meat, and let out a blood-curdling scream. She collapsed on the floor of the kitchen and sobbed like she was the one who had been violated. Yeah, man, that poor snake. He was just chilling. She continued screaming about how it was the most disgusting thing she'd ever seen, and we were disgusting to have that in our freezer. She threw it in the trash, and I was sad that we wouldn't get to make our snakeskin belt with my dad. None of us, except my mom, had any pity for her. It served her right for invading our privacy like that. When the lady realized we were all laughing at her, she went up to her room and didn't come out for 2 days. Best 2 days of her whole stay. Anyone has permission to use this story anywhere they would like. That's so sweet of you, OP. That's really funny. One time when I lived in Colorado, we had a decently sized property with this barn, and I went in there. I was just looking around one day, and I was, being an idiot little kid. And I saw something weird hanging on one of the I don't know, the wood planks that are part of the walls, like the support systems. I don't know what they're called. Rafters, but for walls. And there was this little thing hanging off of it, and I went to grab it, and I pulled it down, and it was a snake skin, and I was like 9, maybe, and I freaked out. I was like, ah! And like, oh my god, it was so gross. It traumatized me. But I'm a big boy now. I would only faint. I'm kidding, I love snakes. Alright, this story's called Don't Mess With My Family, lol. I did not do the revenge, but it was made for me. New at this and not English, so sorry for the spelling. Background: I grew up almost exactly between two small villages, A and C. Since our house belonged to the same postal route as Village A, we did all our postal and banking in that village. Even when I went to school in Village C, I still did banking, etc. in A. When I eventually got a job and apartment in C, I went to do my banking there. A warm welcome was not what I met. Around 2006, we had just gotten a shopping mall there, smack in the middle of nowhere, and one of those shops processed payments a little different from what we were used to. Normally, when you pay, it reserves the amount that you can't touch, and after 2 days, it goes as payment. The thing that they did was that they reserved the amount, then released it to just withdraw the whole amount from the month in one go. So if you use like 50 to buy food a little bit at a time, and darn, I still got 50 left, and you buy more food, and in the end, they draw 100. So it was easy to get an overdraft before you learn to pay cash there. My bank at A explained this to me since they'd have many complaints about it. So my card got eaten by an ATM. It turned out since it was a youth card, I could only enter the wrong code 3 times in its entire life cycle. And apparently after 5 years, this was the 3rd. So I thought, since I now live here, I'll just go to Bank C. I came in and got greeted by one of the cashiers who turned out to be an old classmate, and I explained about my card and she explained why it got eaten. So I was just like, order me the same one, and she was like, wait, you're grown up now, you can have a Visa. And I was like, oh darn, you're right. That would be so much easier since we're close to the border and I couldn't use my old card for internet shopping nor in other countries. She started processing an application and we were talking when a guy stepped up behind her. Apparently he was the new office manager, and he asked what we were doing. She told him I'm turning in an application, and he was all like, yeah, about that. I see you have some overdrafts a few months ago. And I was like, yeah, you know this store, blah, blah, blah. And he got that snotty look and just, no, we gotta hold off on getting you a card. You don't seem to be eligible. My face got so red, and I was so embarrassed in front of my old classmate. He just clicked it away and ordered me the kid's card, as he put it, since I was used to it. I left that bank crying, feeling so bad and like a loser. I called my mother and told her, and she just blew up. So we talked a while, but since it was my break, I went back to work. I was glad that day. I was mowing the lawn, maintenance at the mall, which takes about 5 hours, so I could be alone. About an hour later, my mother calls me up, and I barely answered before she just, the bank is gonna call you soon, I'll talk to you later. Click. Okay. And 2 minutes later, a new number called and I answered.
Hi, this is the office manager at Bank C. How are you?
Fine.
We seem to have had a misunderstanding about the card. You know there are several packages of Visa accounts.
Okay, no, I heard nothing about that. You just looked at me and chased me off.
Why don't you come in and we'll get you sorted, okay?
Okay. I hang up, all confused. The f happened? He sounded all bashful and apologetic. Way the opposite from when he was nose in the air at the bank. But I went up and he greeted me at the door. Treated me like I was an executive in nice clothes, not the work clothes full of grass I had. Explained all the plans, found the perfect one, signed everything, and just told me that when the kid's card comes in, just toss it. I went out confused with a load of papers, and when I got to my car, I was like, so I called mother. Did it go well? I got a Visa card. What happened? Well, I called the head of Bank A, our personal banker for years, and told her what happened. She was not happy. She said she'll call him and set him straight about the overdrafts. That was all it took? He didn't trust me? Doesn't really explain the royal treatment. Oh no, she also told him that for his information, the girl you just turned away, her 3 older brothers are CEO in 3 companies that all do their banking with us in the millions. My brothers wouldn't change just because I didn't get a card. That's what I told her, but she said that he doesn't know that. I laughed for like 3 days straight, and I do all my banking with A now. Never mind the 20-minute drive. I can't stop laughing. I'm from Sweden, and I've always had the habit of saying lol instead of LOL. And I now understand the sniggers from my Dutch friends. But I know myself that now I can't stop. But what? I don't get that last part, man. Thank you all. I remembered this after we needed to fix something, and I needed to fix a new car. Man, the whole thing was good, but the last few sentences, I have no idea. Okay. Anyway, that's a really good story, and man, the way that bank does charges and stuff, oh my god, I would be in so much debt. I would be in so much debt because they essentially, they're treating your checking account like a checkbook, or they're making you treat it like that. So you have to balance it out yourself and keep track of your money. I don't want to do that. I just want to spend recklessly until I know I can't. And if I don't know I can't, I'm not going to stop spending recklessly. And then you get it. This story's called Student's Heart Stops Because of Stupid PE Teacher? Get a free pass out of any class. This isn't actually my story, but one of my teachers. She has a couple. As a child, she had really bad asthma attacks. Because of this, she would have to sit out of PE lessons, and her PE teacher despised this. He would always make them run laps at the start. This particular day, she had bad asthma. While she was running, she felt her lungs start to block. I don't know if that is the term. So she stopped and started walking over to her bag. The PE teacher noticed this and started screaming at her. She tried explaining that she needed to get her bag as her asthma was playing up, but he told her she was lying to get out of running. At some point in the conversation, she passed out, and 000 was called. Just as the ambulance arrived, her heart stopped. She was resuscitated in the ambulance and made it to the hospital okay. Thank God. I was scared that your teacher died as a child. I guess technically that is clinically dying, right? With your heart stop? Anyway, sorry. During her 1-week stay at a hospital, the principal of her school visited her and gave her a green slip that let her walk out of any class. When she got back to school, she constantly abused it to get out of tests, and especially PE, which she walked out of with a smile on her face. Amazing. I'm so glad that PE teacher showed up because, you don't realize, I mean, I'm sure you guys do, but a lot of PE teachers really don't give a crap about your health issues. And honestly, it's sort of a boy who cried wolf situation because every freaking class, they get like 5 kids. I can't breathe. Yeah, my toe hurts. Something like that. But it's much like how I view the justice system. I'd much rather a guilty man go free than an innocent man get locked up. If it's a woman, I don't care. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.